Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear? If you can hear me, then inshallah we shall start with the formal session. This is the program for the official inauguration of PAAMA, Belgium, with the blessings and approval of Hazrat Khalifa Masih. So we'll start with Tilawat of the Holy Quran by Mr. Ishmael Sekunda, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Translation set दें जिनको English नहीं आती.
Translation for
उनको कहें कि
one sec.
English to French translate.
Before we start, can I just confirm that there is translation facility available in Arabic and French. So those of you who need French and Arabic translation, please make sure you get a headset so you can listen to the translations. So this program will be conducted in English, as unfortunately I don't speak French or what's the other language? Flemish or Arabic even. So inshallah. Okay. So yes, there will be simultaneous translation for those in need. Tilawat by Mr. Ishmael Sekunda, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا وكنتم على شفا حفرة من النار فأنقذكم منها كذلك يبين الله لكم آياته لعلكم تهتدون. ولتكن منكم أمة يدعون إلى الخير ويأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر وأولئك أولئك هم المفلحون. جزاك الله.
Jazakumullah. The English rendering by Mr. Usman Mati, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all. I seek refuge against Satan the accursed by the help of Allah. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. O you who believe, fear Allah as he should be feared, and let not death overtake you except when you are in a state of submission. And hold fast all together by the rope of Allah, and be not divided. And remember the favor of Allah, which He bestowed upon you when you were enemies, and He united your heart in love, so that by His grace you became as brothers. And you were on the brink of a pit of fire, and He saved you from it. Thus does Allah explain to you His commandments, that you may be guided. And let there be among you a body of men who should invite to goodness and enjoin equity and forbid evil, and it is they who shall prosper.
Jazakumullah. Now, if I can request our respected Amir Sahib to just maybe say a few words of welcome to the members here.
Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillah, we are very happy to have the chairman of the PAAMA here. As you know that in Jamaat there is our system of French desk, Arabic desk, and there was an African desk as well. It has been active some time, and then there was problems. So people were becoming Ahmadis, there were problems of integration, keep contact with them. So there were difficulties. So we have been writing to Huzur. The chairman was changed, but the things were not even improving. So we found this activity during the Jalsa Salana UK. So missionary in charge Sahab, he also drew my attention towards this, and then we requested Huzur that if Tumi Kalon Sahab can be sent at the time of the Jalsa Salana, so that he can establish this PAAMA here as well. So this is Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, so that all the African Ahmadis, regardless of the color or origin or tribe, they all can be activated and integrated into Jamaat, so that they are playing an active role. So we are very happy to have them here as the time is short. I hope you are getting translation. Est-ce que vous recevez des traductions? Voilà. So we pray and we wish them all the best, Allah's help, so that this can be established here and it will be active. And inshallah, it will revive so many African Ahmadis who have disappeared, and the Jamaat will grow this aspect as well. Jazakumullah.
Jazakallah, Amir Sahib. If we can have the presentation now, please. Jazakumullah. Okay, so under the guidance of Khalifa Masih, we've been establishing PAAMA across the world. First in the UK, we've been going, as I'll explain in this presentation, for a few years. But this year particularly, Huzua's desire to see PAAMA established in other countries as well across the world, where there is a gathering of Africans in the diaspora outside, African Ahmadis outside of Africa. So when Huzu first instructed me to travel to Italy to activate the members there and also establish PAAMA Italy, I had a mulakat with him, a meeting with him, and I sought his guidance as to what I should convey to the members there. And in a nutshell, Huzu said, tell them to establish PAAMA on the same pattern as in the UK. So based on Huzu's guidance, I put together this presentation to introduce PAAMA UK to show the members how PAAMA UK functions as an association so that we can export the same template to Italy. We've done Italy in July, and the same month, with Huzu's blessings, I traveled to the USA, during the Jalsa Salana USA, just before the UK Jalsa again, we launched PAAMA USA, and again today, with the blessed approval of Khalifa Tumasi, we're inaugurating PAAMA Belgium here. So this is just a simple overview of PAAMA UK, just an introduction. So if we can begin the presentation. Next slide, please. So by way of content, in this presentation, I'll cover a brief overview, a brief history of PAAMA UK, the mission, the aims and objectives of PAAMA, the organization and structure of PAAMA, and I'll highlight some major achievements over the years. So PAAMA was established and named by Hazrat Khalifa Tumasi IV Rahimullah Ta'ala. This is important because he himself gave us the name, Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association. Over the years, what has happened in other countries is been functioning as a desk. Pan-African desk in Italy, African American desk in America, and also here, an African desk or Pan-African desk. Even in the UK as well, it was Pan-African desk, but we've gone back to what Huzu himself named it, Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, and this way we can have the same structure, the same template, the same organization across the world. Just like we have Qudam al-Ahmadiyya and Sawla Lajna, the same structure exists across the world. It's the same thing we're trying to establish now with PAAMA as well, so trying to establish the same association. So it's important to know that PAAMA, unlike the auxiliary organizations, Qudam al-Ahmadiyya, Lajna and Ansarullah, they're auxiliary organizations. They exist not independent, but auxiliary. They have their own budgets, they have their own and they report directly to Khalifa Tumasi, they have their own functions as well. PAAMA exists as a subsidiary organization, not independent, but subsidiary under the National Jamaat. So PAAMA UK exists as a cost center within UK Jamaat, not auxiliary. So we get our budgeting, our finances, we get from UK Jamaat, and sometimes as well from Khalifa Tumasi when required. PAAMA is comprised of all Africans, of all Ahmadis of African origin, and I'll explain later in a slide what African origin means. PAAMA has its own national executive, it has its own national structure, and in the UK at least, where we have in significant numbers, now we have a regional structure as well. When we started, as you're going to start in Belgium now, we had over 50 Ahmadis in the UK, 50 members, so we could not have a regional structure. But since I became president, when he was appointed me since 2014, we've established a regional structure as well, so we have regional executives across the UK as well, which I will explain later. And then finally, PAAMA conducts regular programs, events, and activities as well. So just a brief history of PAAMA. It was founded in 1986, so we've actually been going almost over 30 years now, I should say. So it's a long standing, so it's going to take you a long time to get to where we are now, but obviously we started with nothing as well. We started just as a bunch of Africans running around UK with no whatever, getting guidance and direction continually from Khalifa Tumasi. So it was established by Khalifa Tumasi, as already said. Ismail Bike Ado, as most of you will know, some of you I hope you know, he's famously known as Bawa Basha in the Jamaat from Udu class. He was the first chairman himself for many years until he became ill, and in 2009, Issa Wema Sahib, another Ghanaian, was appointed chairman of PAAMA. He was the second chairman, and since 2014, he also appointed my humble self to the office of President PAAMA UK, and I've been serving in that capacity since 2014. Next slide, please. So just a brief overview of the missions, aims, and objectives of PAAMA. Next. So the mission statement of PAAMA, this is important because this in one statement encapsulates what PAAMA is all about. It gives us a brief overview, objective, mission of everything, what PAAMA is trying to achieve. So the mission statement of PAAMA is, as you can see there, to unite, empower, and inspire the African Ahmadiyya Muslim diaspora to serve Islam, society, and Africa. Next. So just a brief overview of the meaning, obviously to unite, obviously to bring us all together, to unite as one body, to empower, to give us a platform, because before, as you know, the Jamaat is predominantly Asian and it's very difficult to integrate the ethnic minorities. So through PAAMA, it's given us this platform to come together, to unite and have our own functions, our own activities, and this will can bond and then deliver programs and projects for our own members as well. And to inspire, to morally and spiritually uplift our members. By the diaspora, we mean all Africans outside of Africa. So everybody of African origin, not just indigenous Africans, as I explain later, but everybody of African origin outside of Africa. So PAAMA does not obviously exist in Ghana, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, because there is local Jamaats there. But outside of Africa, everybody who exists, lives outside of Africa, the diaspora, this is who we're trying to bring together into one umbrella association, one association to serve the Jamaat, to further the aims and objectives of the Jamaat. Okay, so what are the aims of PAAMA? It is, as Khalifa Masih defined, is to raise the flag of Ahmadiyyat throughout the continent of Africa. It is to bring together African Ahmadis in the diaspora under one umbrella association. It is to keep African Ahmadis in the diaspora attached to the Jamaat. And it is to provide a platform to engage and exchange ideas with other Africans, by that we mean non-Ahmadi Africans as well. Next. So the objectives of PAAMA are fivefold. One is to oversee the educational and social welfare of its members, to inculcate moral and spiritual values through religious and secular activities, to seek out the lost lions of Africa. This term, Lost Lions of Africa, was given by Khalifa Masih himself, the fourth is Rahimullah Ta'ala. He himself called us the lions of Africa, not sheep. That was the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who defined Africans as lions of Africa. So we take pride in this term. We see ourselves as lions, and we must maintain the spirit of lions when we deliver our agenda. The fourth is to, sorry, can we go back please, page up? The fourth is to enlighten the people of Africa about faith and secular matters. And it's finally is to propagate the message of Islam Ahmadiyyat to Africans as well, especially Africans, as you say. Next slide. So just a brief overview about the organization and structure of PAAMA. So in this section, I'll talk about the administration of PAAMA, the appointments, how the appointments are made, the composition of PAAMA, who are members and importantly, who are non-members of PAAMA as well. So next slide, please. So firstly, the men's administration. So PAAMA has its own national executive, and it has a president, vice presidents, and 12 secretaries, which are approved by Khalifa Masih. In the UK at least, we have regional presidents. We have 6 regions: London, East, West, South, and Midlands, North and Midlands. And we have a parallel Lajna structure, a head of Lajna with a Lajna national executive as well. So just to go through the 12 departments in summary, we have a general secretary, a finance secretary, a tabligh secretary, Ta'lim, Tarbiyat, Ishat, external affairs, internal affairs, Tajneed, New Ahmadi secretary, sports secretary, and Atfal secretary. Atfal for the children on the men's side, and the ladies' side is called the Nasirat secretary for the younger girls. Next slide, please. So just a brief overview of the Lajna structure. So just like we have the men's structure, we have a parallel Lajna structure for the ladies. Exactly the same of a head of Lajna nationally who reports to the president, and then she has under her deputy heads of Lajna, and again the 12 secretaries, and again exactly the same regional heads of Lajna, and they have their own regional executives. So exactly what we have on the men's side, we have a corresponding Lajna structure as well. This will be able to integrate fully and involve the ladies in everything we do, every event, every activity, every program we do. The men and the ladies are fully integrated, fully involved, and fully engaged in all aspects of PAAMA. Next slide, please. So I'm going through this because it's a fairly lengthy presentation, and I know we have to break for Salat in fairly soon. So I'm just going to hurry this, and inshallah, the presentation will be available later on for circulation and sharing as well. So I won't go through this brief in detail. This is just a brief structure about the roles and responsibility. This slide defines what the General Secretary does, what the Finance Secretary does, what the Tabligh Secretary does. It is exactly the same as Jamaat and Qudam. Yeah, so what Jamaat Secretary does, what Jamaat General Secretary does, the PAAMA General Secretary does. What the Jamaat Tabligh Secretary does, obviously the PAAMA Tabligh Secretary does, but with a remit for PAAMA only. There are 2 differences which I want to highlight here. One is for finance. Finance Secretary PAAMA, we are not a subscription organization. We do not collect chanda. We do not collect membership subscription, unlike Qudam, Chanda, and Lajna. Qudam, Ansar, and Lajna, who have their own chanda, their own financial subscription, and they're funded entirely self-financing. PAAMA, like I explained later, PAAMA exists as a cost center within the national Jamaat. So the UK Jamaat, we submit a budget just like Department of Tabligh, Department of Irshad, Homeopathy, Literature, whatever department, when it comes to Jamaat, Shura. So just like how all the departments submit their budget for Shura, PAAMA submits our budgets as well. So we get our funding directly from Jamaat. So this is the difference. So the finance secretary exists to motivate the members to participate in Jamaat financial system. Chanda Am, Wasiyat, Jalsa Salana Chanda, Chanda Tawiki Jadid, and Waqfi Jadid especially. Others as well, but these are the principal chandas which the finance secretary's remit is to encourage members to participate in these. The second difference I want to highlight is the Internal Affairs Secretary, which corresponds vaguely to the Jamaat Umuriyama department. Exists the same thing functions for Umuriyama and Internal Affairs for PAAMA. The one difference is we have a Rishanata function, a function for matrimonial affairs, for marriages, for matchmaking, men and women, PAAMA, men and women, of course within and outside PAAMA as well, not just among PAAMA. This function exists under the Internal Affairs Department for now at least. So those are the two fundamental differences. Next slide, please. So this is important. This is how PAAMA appointments are made. So the president himself is elected by the members of PAAMA and is approved directly by Khalifatul Masih. Next. So after the president is approved, he proposes a national executive. So the national executive, the 12 secretaries, is proposed by the national president, is nominated by the national president and approved by Khalifatul Masih. Next. The regional president again, proposed by president, approved by Khalifatul Masih. Head of Lajna, again proposed by president, approved by Khalifatul Masih. The regional executives are nominated by the regional presidents. So once the regional presidents are approved by Huzur, they then propose to the president their regional executive, the regional amlas, and then the president approves their amlas. Again, the national executive for Lajna is proposed by the head of Lajna to the president, and the president approves those. Next, the regional executives for the Lajna regional executives are nominated by the Lajna regional heads of Lajna, and they are approved by the head of Lajna. Now, obviously, like I said, your tajneed is very small, so in the beginning, I would not expect you to have the full regional structure, but you expect to have at least a national executive and a head of Lajna, and potentially a Lajna national executive as well, if you have enough members within Lajna to form a national executive. But these two bodies, at least, you should initially seek to establish. So just next slide, the president is appointed for every 2 years. It used to be 3 years, but at the point of when I was appointed, Huzur changed it to every 2 years. So the president is elected every 2 years, and then next slide, please. The others are appointed annually. So the president is elected for 2 years, and the other executives every year, I as president nominate to Huzur, the national executive, regional president, head of Lajna. Huzur approves all of them, then the rest of the appointment take place. Next, the membership of PAAMA. Okay, this is important. This shows who is a member of PAAMA. This is very, very important because PAAMA is not just for indigenous Africans, not just for so-called Black Africa. It also includes Arab North Africans. So Morocco, Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, all these Arab countries, Sudan, all these Arab countries are part of PAAMA as well. And Huzur himself, in fact, when in one of my recent mulaqat, Huzur himself informed me that there's a significant number of Ahmadis from Algeria living in Strasbourg, Germany, and instructed me to reach out to Amisab Germany to seek to establish PAAMA Germany there as well. And during the last Jalsa Salana UK, I discussed with Amisab Germany to find a way to establish PAAMA Germany to bring all the Arabs and Africans or indigenous Africans together under one association. Also includes Mauritians as well, yeah? As our missionary in charge is also from Mauritius. Mauritius, many people don't know, it is part of Africa as well. Also includes African Americans, because obviously they are also originally from Africa. Yes, they grew up, born and bred in America, but we all know they're originally from Africa. Same as Caribbean, originally from Africa. After the slave trade, they were dispersed around the world, but it's originally from Africa. So in the UK, we have all these people under one umbrella association. We all come together, Africans from East and West Africa, South Africa, North Africa as well, Mauritians, African Americans, and Caribbean. We all come together, one association. So who is not a member of PAAMA? This also is important because a lot of our members, Asian brothers and sisters, were born in Africa or lived in Africa, like Amisab, ourselves. I respect Amisab. So for many years in my native Sierra Leone, And obviously they have a lot of passion and love for Africa. But under Huzu's guidance himself, because if we include all the Asians, then it becomes Jamaat anyway. So because under Huzu's guidance, these are, for PAAMA purposes, they're excluded from PAAMA. Because Huzu himself, his own son, our Khalifa's own son, Mian Wakas, was born in Ghana. Huzu told me otherwise Wakas will be one of your members as well. But Huzu excluded all Asians who are born in Africa. So Indian nationals born in Africa and Pakistani nationals born in Africa, we work together, we obviously deliver projects together, but technically for the purpose of Tajneed, for the purpose of the census, we do not include them in the census. But obviously where their spouses, for instance, where PAAMA members are married to non-PAAMA members, we include them in all affairs, all activities, all events they attend, but when we report on the Tajneed, we do not count them for the Tajneed only. Next slide, please. So this just gives you a brief overview of PAAMA UK, our composition by origin. So we have, as the time when I made this presentation, we have 1,001 PAAMA members from these various countries: Algeria, Benin, Burkina Faso, and the rest. We have majority of members, about 42% from Ghana, and 19% from Mauritius, 14% from Nigeria, 3% from my native Sierra Leone, and 5% from Gambia, 4% from Uganda, and a few countries as well. So that's the UK. Obviously, it'll be different here as in your countries. Next slide, please. By Tanzim, we have that many Ansar, Atfal, Kudam, Lajna, Nasirat, boys and girls. Boys and girls are those under 7s. That's what we call, and for AIMS purposes, we call them boys and girls. Those are not yet members of Nasirat and Atfal, respectively. So we have 1,000, at the time we had 1,001. Now we have 1,003 members because since we have 2 new converts who have joined us from Africa. By region, we have this many. We have 6 regions in the UK. It says East, West, North, South, Midlands, and London. Majority live in London, about 32% in London, and Midlands is the smallest region. Midlands is the most active region, actually, the best region in the UK. Last year we had a national ijtima, the first, with Huzu's permission, and Midlands region, the smallest region, won the Alme-Name, the best region award. Next slide, please. So this section, I just want to give you a brief overview about the major achievements of our PAAMA UK, just to show you what we can achieve when we come together, we unite, we bond together, the potential we have for delivery. So first I go to the initiatives, major publications, our resources, and conclude with some events as well. Next. So just a brief initiatives. We've had merit awards, we launched merit awards, we've done some charity works, charity projects, and also done some mosque building projects in Africa. Next slide, please. So the first major achievement is what we call the Abdul Wahab Adam Award. Most of you may know our former National Amir of Ghana. He served as National Amir for Ghana for over 40 years. This was one of the greatest Africans to have ever lived. He achieved so much, so that when he passed away, he delivered so much, he achieved so much for the Jamaat. He was such a dynamic personality. When he passed away, our beloved Khalifa devoted the whole Friday sermon to him. So when he passed away, I was thinking, how best can we commemorate his memory? And I was thinking, then it just hit me, we should launch an award in his name. So I wrote to Huzu with this proposal, and by the grace of Allah, Huzu approved this proposal that we should launch an award which will give to African missionaries who have served with distinction, and we call it the Abdul Wahab Adam Award. It's an annual award we give. It commemorates the memory of our late Maulana Abdul Wahab Adam Sahib, and the objective is to inspire African missionaries to follow in the footsteps of our beloved late Amir. And just to let you know, we started this in 2014, and we're given 4 years of awards, and this year in 2017, our respected missionary in charge was one of the recipients this year in London by Khalifa Masih. He received this award as well this year. So it's a big honor for Mauritius, it's a big honor for Belgium Jamaat as well, that your missionary in charge was awarded this by Khalifa Masih, signed by Khalifa Masih himself. Next slide. This is the Abdul Rahim Naya Award. So this is the follow-on from the Abdul Wahab Adam Award, which is for African missionaries. So obviously, we've also have non-African missionaries who have served, not only missionaries, but also non-missionaries, like our respected Amir Sahib was a doctor, served in Sierra Leone. So again, we wanted to find a way to thank these, to pay back as Africans. These guys left their home countries, they came to Africa, lived in harsh conditions in Africa, to deliver the message of Ahmadiyya to us, by which we have now received the light, the guidance of Ahmadiyya. So how best can we thank them? So we started with Huzu's blessed approval again, this Abdul Rahim Naya Award, to recognize missionaries of non-African origin who have served with credit in Africa. And this is again to commemorate the pioneer services of Hazrat Abdul Rahim Nia Sahib. For those of you who may not know, Abdul Rahim Nia Sahib was one of the pioneer missionaries to Africa. He was the one who established the Jamaat in Ghana, Nigeria, and my native Sierra Leone. So because of his pioneer services in Africa, even though he's technically not the first missionary to Africa, this is important because when I discussed it with Huzu, I was a dilemma because I wanted to name it after the pioneer missionary. But the first missionary was Ghulam Sufi Sahib, the one from Mauritius. Sufi Ghulam Ahmad Sahib. He was the first missionary to Mauritius in 1915. But obviously when I discussed with Huzu felt just like I felt as well, that because Nia Sahib served as a pioneer missionary in multiple countries and is more recognized for his services to plant the seed of Ahmadiyyat in Africa, so we named this award after him. So the objective of this award is to inspire missionaries who have served in Africa to follow in the footsteps of the pioneer missionaries. Next slide, please. So another achievement for PAAMA, which we done PAAMA UK, is we support humanity first objectives. Water for Life campaign we launched in 2014 is a fundraising campaign to support the aims and objectives of Humanity First, which some of you may know is the charity organization of the Jamaat. So we raise funds, we deliver water sanitation projects in indigenous Africa. Most of you are from Africa, and you know that in remote parts of Africa, people do not have access to pipe-borne water supply. So through this, we can construct wells and give water, fresh water, clean water to these remote societies. So rather than women and children having to walk for miles every day to fetch clean water for their families, they can simply get water and they can focus more on education and raising their children. So this is one project we delivered with pride, with working in collaboration with Humanity First. Next slide, please. Another project of Humanity First is Gift of Sight. Again, a lot of Africans suffer from cataract blindness. A simple operation costs about £35 only, £35, but many Africans cannot afford this and they suffer from blindness. So through a simple operation, simple half-an-hour operation, they can restore their sight. So we call this the Gift of Sight project, which Humanity First runs, and again we raise over nearly £10,000, £9,500 for this. That's thousands of hour operations to restore the sight of Africans in indigenous Africa. Next slide, please. Another project we've done with the blessed approval of Khalifa Masih is mosque projects, because our mission statement is to serve Africa as well. So one way we can deliver, one project we can deliver is through bringing spiritual guidance. The Promised Messiah says, if you want Islam to flourish in a city, build a mosque. Once you build a mosque, the rest, Allah will take care of the rest. So through PAAMA, with the blessed approval of Khalifa Masih, we have now delivered two projects. One in Burkina Faso, which Huzu himself named Masjid Nasser, which is delivered this year, and then we'll be building a second mosque. This is our mosque in Benin as well, which is complete, but I'm yet to get the information so I can write to Huzu and request Huzu to provide a name as well for this mosque. But these are two projects we deliver by PAAMA UK members, actually PAAMA worldwide, because members from Mauritius, from PAAMA USA, they all contributed to this. So inshallah, once you establish PAAMA Belgium, we'll establish a network, we can collaborate together, and there's so much we can achieve together, so much we can do, we can build mosques, we can build orphanages, we can do so much projects together, inshallah, when we come together as one global PAAMA family. Next slide, please. Another major achievement is publications. We have a newsletter, we have done brochures, we've done exhibitions and press releases as well when we deliver events. Next slide, please. So we have in UK, we have our own newsletter, which Huzu himself called Pan-African News. So this, and for the first edition, which is here on the right, the first edition there, Huzu himself gave us a special message which we published in the first edition of this when we first launched this in 2014. So this is our pride, is our official organ, which gives us a medium to communicate to our membership, our various achievements, projects, events, etc., to showcase to the world. We have an information brochure which again summarizes what PAAMA is all about. Next slide, please. We've also prepared a brochure of speeches, a brochure of addresses, compilation. In the years between 2010 and 2013, a lot of African countries reached 50 years of their independence. So to commemorate the African countries, starting with Ghana, actually Ghana was actually in 2007, they reached 50 years. But we started this event in 2010, when African countries reached 50 years of their independence anniversary. We had a series of events which we called Africa's 50 events. And Huzur himself came, our Khalifa Tumasi came and delivered 3 speeches: protecting Africa's freedom, services of Ahmadiyya to cause of Africa, and Africa's true independence. So we compile these into one brochure, and we publish it as a brochure as well, with 1 edition. Next slide, please. Exhibitions as well. We have various exhibitions which showcase our activities, our events, some quotations from African leaders, aims and objectives as well. Next slide. Press releases. Whenever, this was one directive which Huzur gave me, whenever you have an event, make a press release to showcase to the world, especially African media. Radio Rainbow is published in Ghana. Trumpet Media is a Nigerian publication in the UK, and Modern Ghana as well, a Nigerian website which does African news. So we reach out to this. Also have a relationship with BET TV, BET, Black Entertainment TV. They come to our peace conferences and cover our events. Next slide, please. So this is just resources about where to find more information about PAAMA. We have a PAAMA website. We have a PAAMA dedicated Twitter account, which is very active. Even during this Jalsa Belgium, we have been live tweeting about PAAMA participation, and also highlighting the inauguration of PAAMA Belgium as well. We have an Instagram account as well, which is picking up, and we have our own dedicated YouTube account. Next. So just a brief, our website is paama.org.uk, www.paama.org.uk. There is a PAAMA USA website as well, which they've launched. But if you want to find more information, this is the place to go for more information about PAAMA UK. As I said, we have a Twitter account, very dedicated. We have more than nearly 2,500 followers now. It's been developed since this presentation was put together. Next. We have an Instagram account. It's actually grown again since this was done. Our handle is PAAMA_UK. So for those of you who have Twitter or Instagram, it's the same, PAAMA_UK. If you go there, you can follow us and you can get regular updates about all our activities. As Amisab said, we have a peace symposium coming up in the UK in 2 weeks' time. Again, you can have plenty of information. Again, I'll mention this briefly when I come to events, major achievements we've done. I'll cover this briefly. But just keep this here from briefly, Amisab. Next slide, please. Again, we have a YouTube account where, again, we showcase all our compilation of videos about our events, which we've done as well. So this is just to give you a brief overview about the event, the kind of events which PAAMA UK has delivered, just to give you an idea about what you can begin to achieve together once you organize yourself into one association. So we had, like I said before, Africa at 50 events when Khalifa Tumasi came and delivered a speech. And again, these are African ambassadors from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and all various African countries who came. Khalifa Tumasi addressed them. Next, we have a regular annual picnic. This is one of our most popular events. We have an annual picnic at Jamia UK, where all Africans from all over the UK come together. We have a formal session, and we have fun and games for the kids, a barbecue, games for ladies, for men, football, sports activities. It's a whole day event, one dedicated event, just a fun day, and with a sandwich with a special spiritual message delivered by Jamia lecturers. Or this year, it happened during the Germany Jalsa, so we listened to Huzur's khutbah from Germany, and then we broke out for our picnic and events after Salat. We have also, every year during Jalsa Salana, we have a Pan-African evening event where we bring together the global PAAMA family from America, from Africa, all the delegates from the Caribbean, from Africa, from African America, delegates across Europe, members of PAAMA Belgium here, have attended this event in the UK. It's annual, on the first day of Jalsa Salana UK, we'll have this under Huzur's guidance as well. This was one of the instructions we gave in my very first meeting when he appointed me president. When I first met him to get guidance and direction from him, he directed me to have this meeting at Jalsa to bring together the PAAMA family and collaborate together. This again we had when Wahab Adam Sai passed away. We had a dedicated commemorative event under Huzur's guidance, which he came and Huzur presided over. Yeah. Next. Merit Award ceremony every year, and this was the event where we awarded respected missionary in charge the Wahab Adam Award, which Huzur himself comes to our event after Jalsa and presents the award. This was the first year we awarded 5 missionaries of African origin, including our missionary in charge of USA, Maulana Azhar Hanif Sahib. We had in 2015, Mauritius was the first African country to reach a centenary, 100 years of Ahmadiyyat in Africa. Like I said, the first Jamaat in Africa was Mauritius, and we had a dedicated Mauritius centenary event where we brought together the PAAMA family to commemorate the centenary of Africa, of Ahmadiyyat in Africa, and Mauritius and Africa as well. Next, this was followed by the next year, 2016. Again, Nigeria was the second country to reach 100 years of Ahmadiyyat in Africa. So again, we held a Nigeria commemorative centenary event where we brought together the PAAMA family to commemorate this event. Next, we've had a conference of world religions where we brought together various faith leaders to come together to deliver how best we can come together to achieve peace in society. We've had question and answer sessions with our respected Imam Sahib, Missionary in Charge, UK, again, Introduction to Islam and Q&A sessions. So just give an idea about what you can do. All these events are targeted towards African audience, African members, so we can bring Africans together, deliver the message of Ahmadiyya to them. Talim and Tarbiyat Forum, these are internal events, obviously for our own members, our women and children and youngsters, to train them in Islam and Ahmadiyya, the traditions, tenets of the Jamaat. MTA Africa, this obviously does not exist within PAAMA. MTA Africa exists within MTA, but obviously being PAAMA, we support them whenever they want events. These are our PAAMA children who, when MTA Africa wants to have a children's program, they work with us, we bring together our children, train them, and prepare them for these events on MTA Africa. I mentioned before, we have, for this year, for the first time, with Huzu's blessed approval, we had a historic national Ijtima. For the first time, a Pan-African Ijtima, an Ijtima only for Pan-African members. Yeah, we brought them together again to allow them to compete in sporting academic events, tailored towards preparing them to be future leaders of the Jamaat. So this is just to give you a brief impact of our PAAMA. This is quite to the end now. So it says the reason why we're trying to establish PAAMA as opposed to a Pan-African desk, because initially the desk exists within the Tabligh department. Various desks initially existed within Tabligh, but they have a narrow remit because they only deliver Tabligh events. So through the Pan-African Association, we have a wider remit where we can deliver Talim programs, Tarbiyat programs, sports programs, picnics, question and answer sessions. So we can deliver so much. So PAAMA, what we're trying to do under Huzu's guidance is to move PAAMA from under the Tabligh department to move it directly under the National Amir, and obviously to Khalifatul Masih as well, because I myself as president, I report obviously to Amir Sahib UK because I get guidance from him on various matters, but also Huzu obviously allows me to come see him directly. And again, PAAMA President USA, who was my deputy for 2 years when I started, Abdullah Diba Sahib, when Huzu appointed him, again, he has direct access to Khalifatul Masih. Whenever he comes to UK, he spends his whole mulakat, even though he's a missionary in USA, but he spends the whole mulakat discussing PAAMA USA with Huzu. So Huzu has so much desire to see PAAMA. That's why he's directing me to send to go to these various countries to plant the seed of PAAMA, because he's seen the impact of PAAMA. So PAAMA has a phenomenal impact when it comes together, because obviously we can do Tabligh, but if Asians and Pakistanis can go to speak to Africans, yes, they do in Africa. But when Africans speak to fellow Africans, we have a connection, we know each other, we can deliver the message in a way that can hit their hearts. Huzu knows this. So this is the reason why we're trying to establish PAAMA. So PAAMA has really enhanced the spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood among Africans ourselves. It's enabled us to deliver leaders, because obviously not all members of the Jamaat of Africans can hold offices within the Jamaat structure, because Jamaat is predominantly Asian, and by default they're gonna nominate each other for Jamaat offices. So what happened in the UK, the PAAMA members, even though they're talented, like even myself, you can't believe when I came from Africa, it took me almost a decade before I held any office in the UK. So much so I actually thought that something's wrong with me. I thought maybe I'm not worthy, I don't have a level of spirituality. I remember there was days, believe it or not, there was days in the UK, I was alone in Fazl Mosque, praying in the corner of Fazl Mosque, crying before Allah, for me to be able to serve the Jamaat. Because I never had anything to do. I was there, I was always in the front row, always the first row I've ever the mosque, in the front row always. But I never had anything to do. And I saw so much activity in the UK, so much hustle and bustle, but I had no office, no involvement. So I was praying and crying to Allah to allow me to serve the Jamaat. I thought maybe at the time I had to attain to bless me with taqwa, so maybe I thought I don't have the right taqwa level of spirituality, so I was praying for Allah to bless me. And lo and behold, when Allah's blessings came, they came showering down so much. I went from being a nobody to next minute I became Sadr Majlis Qudam Lamdia UK. I was national president of the National Youth Association, which is a very senior office in the UK. So much responsibility, reporting directly to Khalifatul Masih, and I had so much to do I don't even know where to start. So this is how Allah blesses you. So but the point is, Africans have, because they don't know them, people never knew me, so we don't know Africans, they don't have opportunity to serve. Through PAAMA, we'll give them this opportunity, we'll give them the platform to serve, become office bearers of the Jamaat. This way they become more responsible, they become more involved in the service of the Jamaat, which is the next thing. They have a greater attachment to the wider Jamaat as well, because through PAAMA, now we have an increased attendance to Jamaat events and auxiliary events. When there's an Ansar Ijtima, Lajna Ijtima, Qudam Ijtima coming up, we publicize it because we have a platform, we have a communication channels to our members. I make sure that always I communicate. There's an Ansar Ijtima come, all PAAMA members come. If there's a Lajna Ijtima, all encourage all our Lajna and Nasira to come. Again, Qudam. So this has increased our attendance at Jamaat events and Lajna events. So this way again, we further enhance the spirit of brotherhood. So this is the blessed cycle that goes around and around. The blessing of Jamaat, the blessing of PAAMA, the impact of PAAMA is there for all to see. So much so that Sada Lajna herself, when they have Lajna events, because of over the years, there have been so many issues of language barriers and problems about when Africans come to Lajna event, they speak mostly Urdu, and ladies get discouraged. Even on Ansar events as well, it's dominated by Urdu language. Members come, just like probably some of you would have experienced here. When you come to events, you speak probably Urdu and you feel left out. Same we have in UK. So our members started drifting away from Jamaat. We going, not coming to Jamaat events, not coming to Lajna events, Ansar, Qudam events. Through PAAMA, we've activated them, created them, given them a platform to become attached to the Jamaat again, and this way they know about events and we can go in numbers. When there's Ansar Ijtima, our PAAMA members come, we go in numbers. So I'm not alone. I have my African brothers with me. We can come together. Again, when a Lajna sister goes to a Lajna event, she's not alone. She's not left out, she's not isolated. She has her fellow African sisters with her, so they can attend. And then this way, slowly, they can integrate with the rest of the Lajna. They become well known, and then they have opportunities again to serve the wider Jamaat as well. So this is the impact of PAAMA, which we've had in the UK. So inshallah, I know you're starting here. We started many years ago, small number of Africans. We started, but constantly seeking guidance from Khalifa to Masih, and we evolved over the years. Many challenges. We're still learning, we're still growing. But alhamdulillah, we've managed to make some major achievements, as you can see. Final slide, please. So just an epilogue. Final word is I want to just emphasize that all progress has really been made by the grace of Allah, and especially even though we've laid foundations, we have so much more to achieve. I mean, there's so much scope for achievement. Such as this event in 2 weeks' time, we call it Africa Peace Symposium. We've sent invitations to all African ambassadors, all African community leaders, African intelligentsia to come so Khalifa to Masih can deliver a message of peace to them. They can take that home, take it back, and this way, slowly, the message of Ahmadiyya through Islam would hit African hearts, every African heart, every African home, every African habitat. These are our aims and objectives. And again, all progress is really due to the guidance, prayers, and blessings of Khilafat. Our Khalifa, we know he has so much love for Africa. He himself lived in Africa as a teacher in Ghana for 8 years. He has so much love for Africans, so much love for us. So he constantly guides us, constantly open doors, have so much access to him. Direct access, I get so much guidance and direction from him whenever I want. Even to the extent that he even directs me on funding as well. If I ever have budgetary constraints, he provides the funds for us to deliver our projects. That's how much love he has for us. So it's all due to his guidance and prayers that PAAMA is flourishing as an association. So our final word is, all praise belongs to Allah, Lord of all the worlds. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah. Elections. So, based on those, I left this sheet in my car. The election, okay, you can do it here. I have it in my car for it. So, based on these brief objectives, what happens now, like we did in Italy, we need to conduct elections for the office of PAAMA President Belgium. We'll take that back to Khalifa to Masih, and he will make the appointment of those who he thinks is the best suited for the office of PAAMA President Belgium. And this way, then I would work directly with that president, give him guidance and direction, and show him and obviously guide him about what the next steps to do to implement PAAMA Belgium. So what we need to do now, we need to organize ourselves into rows of voting members. So if we can have all the Qudam and Ansar members, obviously not guests, and obviously those members from Africa, North Africa, and all PAAMA members, like I said, Mauritians, African Americans, Caribbeans if they're here, North Africans and indigenous Africans, we can request them to probably come to the front, and I'll request our guests to probably go to the back. Then we can briefly conduct elections quickly, and we can move on to the closing of this program. So can I request all Qudam and Ansar members to come forward, please? all PAAMA, PAAMA Belgium, Kudam, and so Kudam is over 16. 15, anybody over 16, actually 15, but if we can do it, yeah, we want to. If we can do this quickly, please. We want to.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. S'il vous plaît, les Ahmadis africains, que ce soit marocains, de l'Afrique, excepté les invités. Alors on vous demande, tous ceux, les Ahmadis, Khuddam et Ansar, que vous soyez arabes, marocains ou africains, s'il vous plaît, venez devant. Les Khuddam et les Ansar, parce que nous allons commencer par compter. Ceux qui ne sont pas encore membres de la Jamaat peuvent prendre la place en arrière. Those who are not still members of the Jamaat can take the place at the back. Brother Abdul Samad, those who are sitting next to you, they are Ahmadi? No. Yes. अनवर हुसैन साहब, ये दो मेहमान जो बैठे हैं ना, उनको समझ नहीं आ रहे, उनको पीछे बैठना चाहिए, जो अरब स्पीकिंग है आगे. Brother Abdullah, maybe your two guests, this, they have to sit at the back. Are they Ahmadi till now? No, they are not members, no?
Oh, members from North Africa.
Yes. Okay. Now, okay.
So Syrians and
Yes, the Syrian and Yemen and so on, they are not members of PAAMA, but the African, Moroccan and so on can sit in front, and the Mauritian also.
There's one child.
Khuddam, the child, you have to go back. All the children. You should not be less than 16 years. If you are 16, you sit here. 16 years.
In fact, 15.
Sorry.
yeah, the first of the
Who has
15 years.
Who has crossed 15 can stay here.
15 can stay.
Okay. Okay, good. So then we will now have our... Okay, we should count now. How many?
So how many voting members? Where's Bilal? Bilal is here. Bilal is there. Okay. So how many members can... what's his name? Sorry? This is his name. Anwar Saab, can you count the members, please? Please. How many in the first 1, 2, 3, 4 rows? First 4 rows. 18. So we have 18 members. So we're going to conduct, it's a simple election process. Every member has 1 vote. So it's just like a Jamaat event. You nominate who you think is best suited for the office of PAAMA president. Yeah, 19. Oh yes, 19. Yes. Our missionary as well for me. Yeah, 18. Yeah, 18 seated plus 119. So it's a simple process. Everybody has 1 vote. We advise that there should be at least 3 nominations. And it's important, 2 things I want to point out. Our elections in Jamaat are based on taqwa, not on any other consideration, not on friendship, not on nationality, not on ethnicity, based on taqwa. Who you think in the sight of Allah is best suited for this office, you should nominate him, you should vote for him. If he's nominated, you have a duty in the sight of Allah to vote for that person. Even if for whatever reason you may not like him, you may have some issues with him, but this is a trust. Your right to vote is a trust from Allah, as directed by the Holy Quran. Everybody must vote for that person who in their knowledge is best suited. Nobody should abstain. Yeah? Everybody should vote. And you should vote openly. Yeah? So there's no secret balloting, nothing like that, which happens in political world. Ours is open, based on taqwa, no fear. In the sight of Allah, nothing to fear. Only Allah will fear. Yeah? That's one thing. The second most important thing is, whatever we do here today by way of election is not final. This is not a final decision. Elections in Jamaat are only advisory, a recommendation to Khalifatul Masih. He has the right to accept your recommendation and appoint whoever you voted for in majority, or he can discard those election results and appoint whoever he feels fit. Yeah, so this is not a decision. We just express our opinion. and the Khalifatul Masih himself appoints whoever is most suited. And I know that's because it happened in my case, because at the time of my elections when I appointed, I did not get highest votes, but Khalifatul Masih appointed me instead of whoever got the highest votes. So this just to explain to you that this is just expression of your opinion, our opinion, who you think is best. Final decision vests to Khalifatul Masih. When I go back, I'll prepare a report to him, I'll present it to him, and he will then, like it happened in the case of Italy, he will then appoint who he thinks is best suited. Okay, so without further ado, so think about, so if you have any questions, I'm going to request Maulana Sab to probably explain in French, because this is very important, so before we start the voting process. You have a question? You have an emergency? Oh, it's an emergency. Oh, okay. Okay. Please, can you explain in French?
S'il vous plaît, M. Tommy Calhoun, qui est le président de PAAMA UK, il nous dit que normalement vous avez à choisir 3 noms, c'est-à-dire vous devez normalement proposer 3 noms, et puis le nom que vous avez proposé, il faut qu'il y ait quelqu'un qui puisse donner son soutien de ce nom, et après il faut voter. Mais n'oubliez pas, vous votez des personnes que vous pensez qui a taqwa, les personnes que vous pensez qui peuvent vraiment servir PAAMA, et il ne faut pas qu'il y ait seulement que l'amitié ou bien quoi, mais même si vous n'êtes pas en bonne relation avec une personne, mais vous pensez que cette personne peut servir la Jama, c'est-à-dire l'association PAAMA comme il le faut, alors là, il vaut mieux soutenir et laisser les autres, votre pensée personnelle à part. Alors il vous dit que c'est très important maintenant parce que les noms que vous avez proposés, 3 noms, qui vont être proposés devant Huzour, et Huzour lui-même qui va choisir celui qu'il veut pour être le représentant, c'est-à-dire le président des PAAMA de la Belgique. Alors, ceux qui ont des noms à proposer, vous pouvez soulever la main, vous proposez les noms, et là, il va commencer par écrire.
Jazakumullah. So without any further ado, let's go to the election. Remember, everybody has 1 vote, nominates who you think is best suited. So may I now request members to propose anybody for the office of PAAMA President, Belgium. If you can say your name and then who you proposed. So proposed by. Take the microphone, please.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Oh.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Yes.
I propose Mr. Wazili.
Mr. Wazili.
Yes.
I'll take the full names later. Yeah, Wazili. Proposed by Usman
Mati.
Usman Mati. Any seconder? Seconded by Abdul Samad. Abdul Samad Sahib is seconding this. Yes. Any other name? Yes. No, it's already seconded. Seconded by Abdul Samad. Sorry, Abdul Samad. Any other nomination for the office of President PAAMA Belgium? Bilal sir.
Yes, my name is Bilal and I want to propose the name of Usman Mati, sir.
Usman Mati. So Usman Mati proposed by Bilal seconder. Any seconder?
Can I give you some precision, please?
Normally you cannot.
About myself.
No, you're not allowed to canvass either for yourself or anybody else. So yeah, this is Jamaat rules. So anybody seconding the name Usman Mati for the office?
C'est Youssouf Fall. Je propose pour Ousmane
No,
Mati.
first, before you propose, I need somebody to either second this or we're going to withdraw it. Anybody second the name of, proposed by Bilal, seconder Usman Mati. We need somebody to second this.
Oui, je ne peux pas proposer Ousmane Mati aussi.
Non, il vous demande si vous allez soutenir cette
oui,
proposition.
Ousmane Mati, oui.
Yes, he's saying, I want to...
Second?
Second.
Okay, what's your name?
Youssouf Fall.
Yusuf.
Fall. Like Fall.
Oh, okay. Oh, Fall. Okay. Okay. Any other proposal?
I propose Muhammad.
Who?
Muhammad al-Ghazrawi.
What's his name?
Muhammad Azrawi.
What's his name? Muhammad. Yeah, I'll take the name later. Yes, Muhammad Sahib is proposed by Wazili. Any seconder?
Seconded by, yes.
Second?
Yes,
Jibril.
I also choose.
Jibril Toure.
Toure.
Jibril.
You have Toure in Sierra Leone also. Huh?
Je propose
So Mohammed
Ousmane Mati.
Sahib, sorry? Hold on. So Mohammed Sahib is proposed by Wasili and seconded by Jibril Toure. Any other proposed, any other name? It's already proposed. It's already proposed. So we have 3 nominations so far. Anybody else?
Je suis Mohamed Ghazraoui, je propose mon frère Abdou Samad.
Abdul Samad proposed by Mohammed Sahib. Any seconder? Anybody seconding Abdul Samad? Your name? Amin. Abdullahi Amin. So we have 4 nominations. Anyone else? So we have 4 nominations. I'll read through this and I'll let the members stand up so everybody knows who they are. Actually, let me just wear this. It's important to note that whoever you propose or seconded, you must vote for that person. 1 vote and 1 vote only. Yeah. So whoever you propose or seconded, vote for that person and that person alone. Yeah. So we have 4 names. Wasili Sahib proposed by Ousmane Mati and seconded by Abdul Samad. Wasili Sahib, can you stand up, please? So Wasili Sahib is proposed by Ousmane Mati and seconded by Abdul Samad. Jazakallah. The second name proposed is Ousmane Mati Sahib, proposed by Bilal Seconder and seconded by Yusuf Fall. Ousmane Mati Sahib. The third name proposed is Mohammed Al-Ghazali. Yeah, proposed by Wasili Sahib and seconded by Jibril Toure. So, yeah. And the final name is Abdul Samad Sahib, proposed by Mohammed Sahib and seconded by Abdullahi Amin Sahib. Okay, so these are the 4 nominations. So make up your mind who you're going to vote for. 1 vote and 1 vote only. There are 18 members present, so all the totals should add up to 18. Simple vote.
I think one more has come. He was not here. Wuni was not here. Now you are 19.
19? Okay.
Yes.
So we have 19 members present now.
Anwar Sahab, there are 19 now. Huh?
One went.
One came.
Ismail went and 1 came. So we have 19 members.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. So all those in favor of Wasili Sahib, please raise your right hands clearly.
Celui qui veut voter pour Wasili, soulevez la main.
There are 4.
4. Jazakallah. All those in favor of Ousmane Mati Sahib, please raise your right hands.
Celui qui veut voter pour Ousmane Mati, soulevez vos mains.
It was not clear.
Can you please raise your hands again?
Encore une fois, s'il vous plaît, pour Ousmane Mati.
8, I think.
8, yeah? Is it 8? I'm waiting for him.
Yes.
7?
No, 8.
Count at 8.
Maybe 8.
8, it's 8. 8.
He did not.
Okay. And those in favor of Mohammed Sahib?
Mohamed Al-Ghazraoui. Celui qui veut voter pour Al-Ghazraoui.
Vote only once, please. 1, 2, 3.
Une seule fois, vous pouvez voter.
And finally, those in favor of Abdul Samad Sahib?
Celui qui veut voter pour Abdou Samad.
2. So this should add up to 19. 12 plus 2 is 17. So two people did not vote.
Il y a 2 personnes qui n'ont pas voté.
Mais professeur.
Did you vote?
Voilà, c'est vrai.
You voted. So 1 person did not vote here and 1 person did not vote there. So we're gonna have to start all over again. So please remember, it's important to get this right. That everybody has 1 vote. So please do not abstain. Everybody has to vote once.
Because people are waiting.
Yeah, please wait for Salat. Yeah,
Salat, yes.
please. Finally, again, Wasili Sahib, please raise your hands.
Celui qui veut voter pour Wasili.
1 vote only. 1, 2, 3.
At first it was 4. Huh?
It's gone down. 3. Okay. Those in favor of Ousmane Mati Sahib?
Celui qui veut voter pour Ousmane Mati.
Ousmane Mati, the boys.
At the back they voted.
You guys voting. Ousmane Mati, you have to vote again. Ousmane Mati Sahib.
Celui qui veut voter pour Ousmane Mati.
Eh? You voted before. You changed your minds.
Ah, they cannot. Oh.
No, you can't.
They cannot.
Yeah, you can't do this?
I don't think, no. Yeah. Because they voted first in front
you
of
can't.
us.
Apparently you have to vote the same. Boys, Salim, you have to vote the same, yeah? Yeah? So 1, 2, can you count?
S'il vous plaît, mets la main un peu en haut.
Ousmane Mati Sahib, please raise your hands.
Celui qui veut voter pour Ousmane Mati.
Well, say it remains
1,
8.
2, 3, 4,
9,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9.
9? That's still the same. All those in favor of Mohammed Sahib?
Celui qui veut voter pour Mohamed El Ghazraoui?
3.
4.
Again.
4.
4. 4. Yeah? And finally, those in favor of Abdul Samad Sahib?
Abdul Samad.
2. So, 12. 12.
9 plus 12 plus 8 is 18. Maybe we are 18. Anwar Sahib, this is all 18 or 19 people total? Rabi Sahib.
Celui qui n'a pas voté.
Rabi Sahib, Genke?
You did not vote?
You did not vote.
You just came? Okay, that's fine. So if we go by 18 members. Okay, it's 18 members.
Yes,
yeah?
yes.
18 voting members. Otherwise, it's going to be here forever. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Yes? Okay. Just like, I'll just leave my address now. Is that possible?
Yes, quickly, because the people normally 7:15 we have to pray. So people are waiting.
Can I do from there?
Yes, you can do it quickly.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Respected Amir Sahib, respected missionary in charge, dear sisters, dear brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Let me start by recording my profound gratitude and appreciation to our respected Amir Sahib and our respected missionary in charge, Belgium, at whose request for my attendance here at this auspicious occasion, I am most graciously directed by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, Ayadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz, to attend Jalsa Salana, Belgium, for the purposes of participating in this event. I realize that the only reason why I'm standing here before you today and addressing you now is not because of any personal merit, but only because I have been so directed by our beloved Khalifa, for which reason you have accorded me the utmost love and deference due to your obedience, your devotion, and your allegiance to Khilafat. It is indeed Khilafat, that blessed robe of Allah, which unites us as Ahmadi Muslims, no matter our backgrounds. And for this, we must remain in humble prostration of gratitude at the threshold of Allah the Almighty. Unity is indeed a theme I would repeatedly return to in my short address this afternoon. But as you seek to transition in your glorious history from a Pan-African desk into a fully fledged Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association Belgium, with the blessings of Khilafat, permit me please, further to my presentation earlier, to say a few words by way of introduction and guidance. The Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, or PAAMA as it is known, was founded in 1986 by Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad, the fourth Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. As the name implies, its purpose is comprised of all Ahmadis of African origin in the diaspora, and its mission statement is to unite, empower, and inspire the African Ahmadiyya Muslim diaspora to serve the religion of Islam, the interests of society, and the continent of Africa. Based on these broad aims and objectives, if we are to flourish and prosper here in Belgium, and indeed elsewhere in the world, our commitment must be a binding one. For while ours is a journey that will, inshallah, under the guidance of Khalifatul Masih, be victorious, we indeed face challenges of variety and volume. Our purpose, our objective, and our mission remain lofty and transcendental. Our raison d'etre is to seek out and gather the lions of Africa, those of our African brethren lost in Western society, either to the struggle for survival or in pursuit of pleasure. Our purpose is to return to Allah and take with us the vast multitude of Africans caught up in a nexus of materialism and irreligion found obtaining in Western society. Our objective is to preach in the face of hatred, opposition and bigotry, the Islam of peace, the Islam of justice, the Islam of truth. Our mission is to come together as one unified body to propagate by our words and actions the teachings of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, and his grand spiritual son, the promised Messiah, والسلام, through the efforts of this Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association. We have seen our brothers and sisters facing persecution in Pakistan and other parts of the world, standing tall and standing firm. We have seen them raise the standards of sacrifice and righteousness to ultimate levels by laying down their lives in the cause of Ahmadiyyat. Now, therefore, seeking honest purpose, we Ahmadis of African provenance must strive to emulate their spirit, sacrifice, and steadfastness, and leave no stone unturned in our efforts to further the mission of the promised Messiah والسلام, and to disseminate the pristine message of Islam Ahmadiyyat through the Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association founded for these very purposes. We Ahmadis of African provenance must strive to lead virtuous lives in keeping with the noble aims and aspirations of our Jamaat. We Ahmadis of African provenance must stand upright, resolute and determined to reform ourselves, to reinforce righteousness and to defend the dignity of Africa. We Ahmadis of African provenance must continue in our lofty ambition of bringing hope, guidance and enlightenment to the continent of Africa, a continent in pursuit of progression, in search of salvation and in need of emancipation. It is no doubt a very tall order. In a fallen and decrepit moral social order, you have to inspire society to climb moral and spiritual heights so that they are determined to carry out a spiritual revolution both inside themselves and in the world around them. In a culture tainted by the cancer of corruption, we must strive to instill in Africans the virtues of piety, honesty, and absolute justice so that they can reform themselves and transform the world around them. It is, as I said, a very tall order. Yet, these must be the aims and objectives of PAAMA. For founded in divine wisdom, through the instrumentality of Khilafat, we are too celestial a body to limit ourselves to diminutive goals. Our mission statement should be no credo of convenience. On the contrary, we must seek to propound this beautiful tenet, not merely in words, but as part of the very genetic constitution that permeates our every action. It should be the guiding principle which inspires social, moral, and spiritual edification, which induces a measure of character into each and every one of us, and which instills in us, as enjoined by our faith, love for and loyalty to the country where we reside, and by default, the continent of Africa. An understanding of the position of PAAMA within the overall structure of the Jamaat is pertinent to appreciating the special role PAAMA can play as a conduit for collaboration among Ahmadis of African origin and beyond that in helping to further the cause of the Jamaat. So let me clarify that PAAMA is not an independent association within the Jamaat, but a subsidiary association. We should, by uniting and joining hands in the service of the Jamaat, strive to become integral members of the Jamaat. We should, by each becoming ambassadors for PAAMA, strive to make it the pride of the Jamaat. We should work with our elders in Majlis Ansarullah and our brothers in Majlis Qudam Ahmadiyya. We should support every endeavor of Lajna Maila, and we should serve our central Jamaat. I do not subscribe to any notion which maintains that all these are mutually exclusive. On the contrary, it is by uniting with and fully integrating into the Jamaat and all auxiliaries that we can fulfill one of the aims for which PAAMA was established. This is indeed the desire of our beloved Khalifa. We all know the genuine love that our beloved Khalifa has for Africans and the African continent. We will be remiss, therefore, if in spite of this, by failing to live up to his lofty expectations, we deprive ourselves of His pleasure. Let us cast off and discard everything that disunites us and hold on to our common African heritage which unites us. Just as the rainbow is made up of different hues and colors and yet remains so beautiful and so harmonious that the lines of demarcation between individual colors totally disappear, and yet one can still identify individual colors, so too can all members of PAAMA, and indeed all members of the Jamaat, maintain our various national identities and yet remain united under one umbrella association and under one Jamaat. As the civil wars and internal strife in our diverse continent and complicated world divide us, we, the members of PAAMA, must endeavor to transcend man-made barriers and bring harmony where there is discord, brotherhood where there is enmity, and unity where there is division. We must do so through our words and actions, conveying the pristine message of Islam. And so I say this to the members of PAAMA Belgium, and indeed all members of the global PAAMA family. Let us take every opportunity to advance the cause of our Jamaat and the welfare of Africa. Let us take every opportunity to relieve poverty, sickness, and suffering of those affected. Let us, in the discharge of our duty to God and His creation, take every opportunity to sustain our determination and our courage, to renew our fervor and our dedication, to nourish our spirits and our faith, so that the elusive dream of a united and prosperous Africa, enlightened and illumined by the light of Ahmadiyyat, can be transformed from a hollow yearning into a glowing reality. For my part, I remain open and accessible at your disposal and service always, ready and willing to provide whatever support and assistance that is within my humble capacity as you embark upon this new chapter in your glorious history. I am duly cognizant of the most pertinent instruction given by our beloved Prophet, Sayyidul Qawmi Khadimuhum. A leader of a people must be their servant. Rest assured, therefore, that I will continue to strive in the light of the day and toil in the dark of the night for the progress of the global PAAMA family and the welfare of every man, woman, and child within it. Rest assured that I will continue to strive for the unity of the global PAAMA family, impressing upon every man, woman, and child within it the need to defy all abstractions by which we can be reduced, nationality, ethnicity, geography, and gender, and embrace our common African lineage as well as our common heritage as worshippers of the same God, followers of the same Prophet, believers in the same Messiah, and devotees of the same Khalifa. Rest assured that I will continue to the best of my abilities to impress upon every man, woman, and child within the global PAAMA family the realization, the understanding, and the comprehension that Khilafat truly is the source of all progress in this divinely commissioned Jamaat. That it is by seeking the pleasure of the Khalifa of the time that we will be seeking the pleasure of Allah the Almighty. That it is by being foremost in our allegiance, our response, our obedience, our devotion, and our service to Khilafat that we will continue to advance the vanguard of PAAMA. When our beloved Khalifa, addressing the PAAMA Africa's 50th event in 2011, made the most profound remark, I truly believe that the time is fast approaching for Africa to lead the world. He went on to say that we must strengthen our ties with our Creator, make excellent plans to achieve higher levels of progress, develop an atmosphere of mutual love and affection, and uphold the human values of mankind. Today, as we formally inaugurate PAAMA Belgium with the blessed approval of our beloved Khalifa, I call on all members of PAAMA Belgium to commit to a revitalized awareness of our purpose and seeking neither title nor office. Be ever ready to expend your time and resources in His cause. My dear sisters and brothers, the progress, the future, and the ultimate victory of PAAMA Belgium is now in your collective hands. You must neither shirk nor evade this sacred responsibility. You must neither violate nor desecrate this sacred trust. May Allah so ordain and bless you all profoundly. May Allah make you all instrumental in the establishment of His unity. May you ever rejoice in the love of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and may you all be counted among the helpers of the promised Messiah alayhi salatu wasallam. Amen. Respected Amir Sahib, Missionary in Charge, my dear sisters and brothers, thanks for having me. Wassalamu alaikum.
Jazakumullah. We pray together now to end this session, and we pray that this initiation should be very blessed and his journey will be very blessed, and we can achieve all what is to be achieved through PAAMA. I will not say mob because a lot of people are leaving, they have to pray. So we will pray together and we stay here and then we'll pray inshallah. Okay, let us pray.